Welcome to our Middle East briefing program. Today, we have some significant updates that you won't want to miss. First up, former President Trump has made waves by rescinding a Biden-era policy that required U.S. arms recipients to adhere to international law. This decision has raised alarms about the accountability of U.S. arms transfers, especially concerning Israel's actions in ongoing conflicts. Next, we turn our attention to Scotland, where a special service was held to mark the third anniversary of the Ukraine invasion. Dignitaries from both Scotland and Ukraine came together to honor the sacrifices made by Ukrainians in their fight against aggression. It's a poignant reminder of the solidarity that transcends borders. Lastly, for those hitting the slopes, ski resorts across the northeastern U.S. are reporting excellent snow conditions, with many trails open and ready for winter sports enthusiasts. Whether you're a skier or a snowboarder, it looks like a fantastic time to enjoy the winter wonderland. Please stay tuned for more detailed coverage. The Independent reports that the Trump administration has revoked a Biden-era policy aimed at ensuring that U.S. weapons supplied to foreign countries are not used in human rights violations. This controversial decision, communicated through a memo from National Security Advisor Michael Waltz, is seen as a step back from the previous administration's efforts to align arms transfers with international law and humanitarian support. Critics, including Senator Chris Van Hollen, argue that this move undermines American values and taxpayer interests, particularly in light of accusations against Israel for using American-made weapons in alleged war crimes. In a poignant commemoration, the BBC highlights the third anniversary of the Ukraine invasion, marked by a solemn service at the National War Memorial in Scotland. First Minister John Swinney and members of the Ukrainian community gathered to honor those affected by the conflict, including the family of Jordan McLaughlin, a medic killed while serving in Ukraine. Ukrainian Consul Andriy Madzianovsky expressed deep gratitude for Scotland's support, emphasizing the ongoing struggle of his countrymen against the Russian invasion, and underscoring the need for strong negotiations to ensure peace. Meanwhile, the Associated Press provides detailed updates on snow conditions across various ski resorts in the Northeast, showcasing the thriving winter sports scene. With several mountains reporting excellent conditions, including Mohawk Mountain and MT Southington, skiers and snowboarders are enjoying fully operational lifts and well-groomed trails. The report emphasizes the dynamic nature of winter sports, with conditions subject to change due to weather and skier traffic, inviting enthusiasts to take advantage of the winter season while it lasts. The Independent reports on a significant lawsuit filed by 3 Iranian exiles against Pervez Sabeti, a former high-ranking official in the Shah's regime, who is accused of orchestrating severe torture during his tenure as the deputy director of Iran's secret police, SAVAK. The plaintiffs, living in the U.S., claim that Sabeti, now a real estate developer in Florida, inflicted unimaginable physical and psychological pain on them, including electrocution and other brutal methods of torture. They assert that the legacy of torture from the Shah's regime has been perpetuated by the current Iranian government, and they seek $225 million in damages for the suffering they continue to endure, driven by a desire for accountability and justice. Nikkei Asia highlights Gaken Holdings' ambitious initiative to train a workforce in Turkey for the manufacturing sector, aiming to equip 150,000 people with essential skills by 2030. The training programs will cover a wide range of topics, from automation technologies to safety management, and will be conducted in industrial parks across Turkey. Gaken's strategic partnerships with local and Japanese companies will facilitate the establishment of dedicated training centers, with the first set to open in Manisa. This initiative reflects Japan's growing investment in Turkey, driven by the need for automation amidst rising labor costs, and positions Gaken as a key player in fostering talent in the region. BBC reports on escalating tensions between Israel and Syria following the recent leadership changes in Syria. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has called for the complete demilitarization of southern Syria, specifically targeting the forces of Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, HTS, and the new Syrian army. Despite reassurances from Syria's interim president, Ahmed al-Shara, that he seeks to avoid conflict and uphold past agreements, Netanyahu remains skeptical, emphasizing that Israeli forces will maintain their presence in the region indefinitely. This situation underscores the complexities of Syria's post-civil war landscape, as foreign influences wane and the new leadership attempts to assert control, all while navigating the challenges posed by Israel's military strategy and territorial claims. Deutsche Welle reports that the partnership between Venezuela and Iran has deepened over the years, driven by a shared anti-Western ideology and economic necessity. As both nations face severe sanctions from the West, their collaboration becomes increasingly vital. Recent developments, such as Venezuelan flights bringing back American prisoners and Iran's willingness to negotiate on its nuclear program, indicate that the political landscape is shifting. The two countries are not only allies in ideology but also in economic ventures, with Iran providing Venezuela with refined oil and technical support for infrastructure, while Venezuela supplies Iran with crude oil and agricultural products. This partnership is underpinned by their mutual desire to resist U.S. influence and sanctions, making the relationship a strategic necessity for both nations. Al Jazeera highlights the dire situation in Sudan's North Darfur region, where Doctors Without Borders, MSF, has been forced to suspend operations in the Zamzam camp due to escalating violence. The camp, housing around 500,000 displaced people from Sudan's civil war, has seen a surge in attacks that made it impossible for MSF to provide life-saving medical assistance. Despite the urgent humanitarian needs, including the treatment of malnourished children and victims of violence, the organization cited safety concerns for its staff and the challenges of delivering supplies. The ongoing conflict, marked by clashes between the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces and the Sudanese military, has resulted in significant casualties and a worsening humanitarian crisis, further complicating the already fragile situation in the region. Australian Broadcasting Corporation explores the implications of Donald Trump's presidency on Australia's national security, particularly concerning the Five Eyes Alliance and the AUKUS Pact. As Trump adopts a transactional approach to foreign policy, questions arise about the future of Australia's intelligence-sharing relationships. While Australia has historically played a crucial role in Five Eyes, the evolving dynamics may lead to a more skeptical U.S. stance on the alliance. Analysts suggest that AUKUS, a trilateral security pact with the US and the UK, faces challenges under Trump's administration, as he may prioritize American interests over allied commitments. The potential for AUKUS to falter due to internal US priorities and Trump's focus on economic gains raises concerns for Australia, emphasizing the need for a strategic reassessment of its defense partnerships in a rapidly changing geopolitical landscape. Associated Press. In a series of brazen heists across the deserts of California and Arizona, thieves have stolen over $2 million worth of Nike sneakers from freight trains, with a significant portion of the stolen goods consisting of unreleased models. The most notable incident occurred on January 13 in Perrin, Arizona, where suspects cut an air brake hose and made off with 1,900 pairs of unreleased Nikes, including the highly anticipated Nigel Sylvester X Air Jordan 4s. Authorities are investigating at least 10 similar thefts since last March, resulting in significant losses for freight railroads, which reported over $100 million in theft-related costs last year alone. The thieves often scout for valuable shipments and are assisted by accomplices in follow vehicles, tossing the goods off trains during stops. Despite the railroad's investments in security measures, the problem continues to escalate, with theft attempts increasing by approximately 40% in the past year. The industry is calling for tougher federal enforcement and penalties to combat this growing issue. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.